These two guys have Minnesota sports flowing in their veins. Mackey and Judd on Score North and ScoreNorth.com.
Write this down.
Yeah.
Write it down. You like writing things down?
Yeah.
Well, I got a bad blood prediction. I got one.
You do?
In the bank.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I got a bad.
Is that this weekend?
Mm-hmm.
Big pay-per-view? Or not a pay-per-view, Judd. They're called premium live events now.
PLEs.
Premium
Pay-per-view was
live
way
events.
better. I love those days when we
Me too.
called it pay-per-view.
Yeah, my dad had the. I don't care. He had the pirate box when I was a
friend's
kid.
dad
So
had
like
that.
I
I
remember.
love how you hesitated. You're like,
I hesitated.
my dad
Why does it
had
matter?
an illegal
Yeah.
setup.
They're going to
Hell,
arrest your dead father.
I'm paying. Yeah. I'm paying right now for a sketchy service to watch games in general. So I don't even know why I'm even afraid. But I have like vivid some of my earliest wrestling memories. Like when Undertaker came back at Judgment Day as ABA. We watched that, I remember vividly, on the Pirate Box downstairs in the basement.
Wow.
The Pirate Box was great.
Mm-hmm.
The Pirate Box was great. In my youth, they would actually show prize fights on what they called closed circuit at Met Center.
Yes.
So like you had to
I love that
drive.
idea.
You had to drive out there, pay I don't know what it was at the time, $15, $10, and go watch like Sugar Ray fight someone.
That's cool. And would they have like concession stands open too?
I never went to one. I wish I had, but I was young. But yeah, I'm sure that they did. And so I don't know, because at that time they didn't have like scoreboard screens. So like they literally must have had to set up like huge TVs or something.
Yeah.
Do you guys? I think the last real, true big pay-per-view, in my opinion, was that Floyd Mayweather versus McGregor fight in like 2016.
Yeah,
I think is when it was 15 or 16.
They did fight each other. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like and that was like my last semester in college, and we like had the idea of like, let's charge people at the door, and it worked. Like we did charge a bunch of people, but when I say this was the most packed college house party situation, like nuts to butts, shoulder to shoulder, I've ever been in, and everyone just around a TV watching that. I remember my opinion, that was like the last big pay-per-view. Like UFC, I count as a different animal. I don't really count that.
Well, boxing now, it's like, since we're on this side street, and we will get to an accountability session and write that down, predictions here. But this is our small talk for the Judd.
Yeah,
you want
exactly. I
some
feel
small
much
talk,
more
right?
comfortable. See, we're starting much more comfortable than we did Purple Daily.
So I feel like the biggest boxing matches now are, it's not the number one heavyweight versus the number one contender, and no one's ever heard of any of the top boxers beyond maybe two of them.
Right.
It's YouTube celebrity like Jake Paul is going to fight Mike Tyson, who's almost 60 years old.
Yes.
And you know what? I'm much more likely to pay $100 for that type of fight than two dudes I've never heard of who are welterweights. So maybe boxing figured out their new formula.
It's sad though, because it used to be cool, right? Like the big fights, but it's been so long now. It's been so long. I feel like the last really like universal must watch probably was Tyson.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you're probably right about that. That's like
universal
25 years ago. Yeah, where you had to. There's UFC guys that have been on that level, but not boxing as much. So, okay. Well, Floyd Mayweather, I think, even though his fights are boring because he just plays defense for 2 hours, but he still he was a huge draw, even though his fights were boring. So here's how Write That Down works. The OG edition that goes back about 10 years. 3 predictions from everybody each week. They must be quantifiable. Those are the only real rules. We keep track of batting averages and home runs. And listeners, if you want to participate, you can send Declan a message through the Score North app and we'll get you scheduled. So let's go through the accountabilities here, gentlemen. These are going to be lengthy because the Twins season just finished up. So we've got some end of season baseball things to clear up.
It's not going to be. Oh my God.
Close your eyes, Judd.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Go! Go!
It's red.
Whoa!
The red. Oh,
so
God.
buckle up. We're going to go through all these. We'll start with the bad.
How long did this take you?
Judd, this first one is a terrible bad beat for you. So you said, I think like early in the year, like maybe even before the season, you said Jose Miranda will hit 10 or more home runs.
You don't have to buzz all of these, by the way. I know.
I might buzz them all twice, actually.
Yeah, you should, actually.
His 9th home run came on July 5th. He did not hit another home run the entire second half of the season.
Are we really going to go through all of these?
David
though?
Popkins. Peace out.
It was the Popper's fault and his one assistant. Yeah, we're going to need you to go ahead and not come in next season.
It's a weird hire to begin with. He had 0 playing or coaching experience above double. He had no coaching experience above like
I'm just
A-ball.
glad he's gone. I'm glad he's
30
gone.
years old.
I knew a guy who played with him in minor league ball in the Cardinals organization. And I actually texted him earlier this season about it. I was like, "Did you ever, like you played with David Popkins? Like, do you know he's the what do you remember about him?" He goes like, "Why are you asking me this?" And I said, "Because he's the hitting coach for the Twins." And he replied back, "That guy's a Major League Baseball hitting coach." And I was like, "Whoa!" And I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, and he's like, "Hey, like some of the, just because you weren't a good player doesn't make you a good coach." But he was like, "I had no idea that guy was a Major League Baseball hitting coach, and this is a guy who knows baseball. He had no idea."
Well, the thing is, like, to that point, most position coaches or most like hitting and pitching coaches weren't Randy Johnson Hall of Fame level. Most of them got into coaching because they didn't make millions and you can be a great teacher. But he had 0 coaching experience. He was like 31 years old when they hired him, had 0 coaching experience at any level of high minor leagues. So
he's and my problem is he's a complete scapegoat now. I was calling for him to be fired last year and in the spring this year when they got off to a bad start. I'm like, fire Popkins. But now it's just, you are now. Yeah. It's like, if you guys had any guts, you would have fired him on May 1st. And
you said
the last thing, Carlos Correa loves him. Sorry. I think this is a shot across the bow a little bit.
Man,
Carlos Correa loves Popkins. Loves him.
I'm sure we can find somebody else to help Carlos. Carlos is.
I'm telling you, I think it's getting dicey. That might lead to write that down for me.
You said Cat will ask for a trade by Wolves training camp.
I was hoping to avoid this. Yeah.
Royce Lewis will hit 25 or more jacks this year. The rally sausage will not disappear for the rest of the season. I didn't see it the last week and a half.
Put my head down like they do in grade schools.
You said Daniel Jones will be benched by the Giants by the end of September, and Carlos Correa and or Buxton will aggravate their injury while rehabbing or in their first week back with the Twins. Yeah. Royce Lewis will start no fewer than 3 games at second base. He only started 1. The Zebmeister will start at least 1 playoff game. Emmanuel Clase will... Go ahead.
I'm taking a nap now.
Emmanuel Clase will blow at least 3 more saves by the end of the season. He's only given up 1 earned run since like the beginning of July.
How's his arm still attached?
Royce Lewis will have 2 or more grannies in the 2024 season, playoffs included. Caitlin Clark will break the WNBA record for points per game. She broke the assist record for any player. Multiple Wolves will throw out the first pitch at a Twins game this year, and Pablo Lopez will finish top 3 in Cy Young vote.
That's not done yet. Why'd you take that off the board?
Multiple Wolves.
This was second half. He made this prediction during the Western Conference Finals.
Conley did it.
Yeah,
and I think Rob Dillingham did it. Ooh. If you could find the date, I think this might have happened.
Okay.
This might have happened.
Judd, you want to do some digging on your behalf here?
Yeah, no problem. I'll check with my friends at the Twins. I'm sure they'll get right back to me this week.
Somebody from the Twins very high up, texted me after the episode that we did on Monday about the poll ads, just quoting one of Judd's rips with, wow.
I'm sure they'll get right back to me.
It was like quote with a Judd rip and wow.
Can you send me a list of the Wolves players who threw out first pitches? Really appreciate it. Have a great day.
Yeah, no, it's if you can find 2. If it was like Dillingham and Conley, then come back to us. All right. But you did say that Karl Anthony Towns would be traded this offseason. Give you a home run for that. And the Rays will not make the playoffs. Judd's random baseball prediction.
Oh boy.
It was not a great week for me either, so I can't talk too much trash. I said the Twins would still I had some Twins Kool-Aid still pumping in early September. They're gonna be fine, and everything's fine. The Twins will still win a playoff series. The Twins will roll off 5 straight wins at some point in September. And they'll beat the Yankees in a playoff series.
That was the most ridiculous one that you made.
Well, in fairness, we will never know.
We'll never know.
We'll never know what happens in that playoff series. Twins never got there.
Oh,
I thought that FSU fan that said he would eat poo.
I like how the emoji showed up.
Yeah, it's great translation.
It's like, what is that?
He deleted all of his accounts because people were trying to hold him accountable for. Was it the Boston College game? I will eat poo.
Yes.
I will eat dog poo.
First grade. Yep.
I said somebody would track him down and make him, but apparently he's just gone. So I said I hedged a little. I said at one point I said Cat will not be traded this offseason. We'll come back to the other side of that. I said this is borderline. I said Aaron Rodgers will publicly take a shot at someone in the Jets organization by October 1st. I'm buzzing myself. He's clearly not happy, and he's throwing little sideways comments, but nothing super frontal yet. So hard for me to really fight this one.
Yeah, that's pretty vague. So
it's weird because like you can tell he kind of hates it there right now, but
he hates his coach.
He hasn't said it fully.
But Devontae, he'll be happy with Devontae Adams there.
Yep. I said Carlos Correa will steal a base this season. Stealing some money.
Whoa.
That was Phil Mackey, Carlos.
I love Carlos too, by the way.
I like him too.
I'm a staunch Twins supporter. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
I did tell you that Cat will not be a Timberwolf for the start of the 2024-25 season. That was my initial prediction. Then I hedged off of it, but that's how you play the game sometimes, boys. Listeners, all right, we'll fly through these. We'll start with the bad. Tyler said, Twins will blow a 3-run lead in the playoffs and lose said game. Nick said, one of these three players will not be on the Twins' initial playoff roster, Correa, Brooks Lee, or Royce Lewis. Now, I can hear some people probably arguing, well, wait a second. None of those players are on the Twins' playoff roster because they didn't make the playoffs. But this is my translation of this is it's effectively a parlay because he's saying there will be a playoff roster.
Yes.
And these are players that won't be on the playoff roster.
Yes, correct. Yeah, we're not cheating.
If he were to have said one of these three players will not play in the playoffs, then he would have had a backdoor entry to get this. But it's wrong. Nick also said one of these three will start a playoff game for the Twins, Festa, Simeon, Woods, Richardson, or Zebby. And then Nick, for the trifecta, said the Twins would lose in the first round of the playoffs. Will said Simeon, Woods, Richardson would start a playoff game. Jay said Royce Lewis would lead the Twins in home runs and batting average. And Chase said Christian Encarnacion Strand would hit more home runs than any Twin.
He got hurt in like June, missed the rest of the season.
And he hit like 2 home runs. But Mike said the Twins would score at least 4 runs last Wednesday, pretty low bar there, and would miss against the Marlins and would miss the playoffs regardless of that. Both of those things were likely at the time. It's a good solid knock. David said the Twins and the Cubs would each have 85 wins or less in 2024, which I think was projected. A home run here for Jay. He said the Wolves would make significant roster changes before the start of the season by getting rid of 2 of the top 8 minutes played players. Well, Kyle Anderson and now Karl Anthony Towns.
I wonder who the second one was.
Yep. Just to be clear, as we record this at 10:21 on Wednesday, the trade is still not official, right? The Wolves trade?
I mean, it was further reported last night, the additional details, but
I saw
it's
that.
apparently going to be official today.
Okay. I'm just curious when it's going to be official.
Well, they had to figure out a couple other little like salary cap things. So there was a couple other players going here and there, and like 3 second-round picks. I don't know. Declan, close your eyes, bro. It's bad. You said the Twins would play the Orioles in the playoffs this year.
The Birds.
Joe Ryan will pitch again this season.
Nope.
You said when Justin Topa is activated, Cody Funderburk would be the one sent down. I don't think he was. Want to check the release? Because he was activated for the last weekend.
Funderburk was sent down after Topa was activated.
Yeah, he like came back as a sacrificial lamb, was
pitched
horrible,
on Friday,
and was optioned again.
And was optioned Saturday.
So this is kind of close. It's kind of close.
Yeah.
A starting pitcher who is currently not on the roster as of July 10th will start a playoff game this year for the Twins. The Twins will add some type of sausage promotion at Target Field before the end of the season.
Shockingly didn't.
Yeah, I'm weird. It's weird they didn't either.
You said, I kept this one on the board for semantics purposes.
Yeah, you can do. Yeah.
From like a year and a half ago.
2 years ago.
2 years ago. You said Jorge Lopez, Michael Fulmer, and Joan Duran would all appear in a single postseason game, the same game that's won by the Twins. But you didn't say for the Twins. So I was giving you the out of like, if somehow Fulmer and Lopez were pitching for one team and Duran was pitching, but Fulmer was out of the major leagues all season.
Fulmer's out of base.
Yeah. So this
could have been taken off last year, but that's okay. That's all right.
And then this one, I didn't ding it or buzz it. I'm just going to throw this out and see what you guys think. You said Twins ownership will acknowledge this season being a failure in some form within 1 month of the season ending. So you still have like a month.
Yeah.
I don't think Joe Polad, I don't think his comments rose to the level of calling it he said we want to be better next year, but he didn't call it a failure, really. He just talked about business.
It's probably trending to being off as an incomplete. But I guess
another month though.
Yeah, we could still have another off season. Interview.
Yeah, Joe's
some
gonna talk
type
again.
of
I
thing.
can feel it in my bones. Can get in front of the cameras, really.
Yeah, I think the next interview will be actually on Super Bowl Sunday at about 5:45. I think that might be the next one
on TwinsBaseball.com.
So here are the season stats. I'm sitting at 363, Declan 354, listeners 330, Judd 292.
Oh my God.
Listeners have 11 home runs. I have 9. Judd has 9. Declan has 8.
How many
career stats? Declan leads 359 average.
How many points did we all drop like at least 30 batting average points between last week? I think I was 380 or 70.
I was 383. Declan was 374 or 378. No, 378.
Oh my God.
Listeners actually went up a tick, and then Judd was at 321, I believe.
I think collectively that might have been the worst week we've ever had, at least for us three. The listeners, good job. But for us three, that might have been the biggest bloodbath we've ever had on this show.
Brutal.
Thanks, Twins. One more parting shot from the Twins.
A lesson that practicing optimism never really works.
Well, that's the thing. I feel like listeners usually practice the most optimism and usually have by far the lowest batting average, but they're hanging in there here, and they're leading the home run race. So
clearly.
All right. Well, we had a last-minute cancellation from our guest listener predictor. So what better fill-in than the birthday boy himself, producer extraordinaire, Ross Brendel, joining on behalf of the listeners.
Hey, boys. Hopefully
Roscoe.
I treat the listeners well here.
What's your strategy here? Are you going to start swinging for the fences? Are you going to try and raise the batting average? What's the tactic? And how many Gopher football predictions do you have to mix in?
Actually, so backstory, I found out about 13 and a half minutes ago that I would be joining this podcast. So my predictions are very thrown together, but I think knowing you, Phil, you're going to poke fun at a few of my predictions because they might be fairly specific, but they have a broad ending, so I can backdoor my way into some batting average here for the listeners.
That's how you play the game. That's how you play
no
the game.
Gopher football related ones, though.
Oh,
wow.
I'm shocked.
Well,
we're on to 2025 championship season, boys.
Okay, that's probably for the best. So we're going to start with Ross over to Judd, Declan, and then back to me. We'll make 3 trips around the room. Here we go.
Like writing things down?
Well, boys, I know you have all paid attention, especially Judd, because I tweet him about every week or every other week about our Winnipeg Blue Bombers, who after starting 0-4 have rallied to a 9-6 record, leading the West Division.
So there's hope for the Jaguars. There's hope for the Jaguars.
We're down on them, too.
I was never down. You and Forno like to rip me. I just said this would be a comeback season.
I don't rip.
Or a fallback season. They've been to 4 straight Grey Cups. What more do you want from them, Judd Zulgad?
That's what I said. You were
So
down.
here we go.
You're like, it's fine. They're bad.
The Winnipeg Blue Bombers now 9-6, leading the West Division in the CFL. My Blue Bombers will appear in their 5th straight Grey Cup in a row. However, they will lose to the Montreal Alouettes on November 17th. Write that down.
Very specific here, actually.
Alouettes.
Okay.
Storied franchise. Vince Ferragamo played there. Yep.
Over to Judd.
All right. I'm going to get ahead of the game here because I'm willing to bet that Phil is going to make this prediction soon, perhaps today. Anthony Edwards, MVP this season in the NBA.
I'm not ready to go there.
Okay.
Because I think there's a certain order of events, and I feel like Luka Doncic is the next one, right? Because he doesn't have one, correct?
Yeah. Yeah, but you know what? I'm going with Ant.
Does he have one?
MVPs are like Academy Awards. You don't always win them when you're supposed to.
Yeah. Luka Doncic has finished top 5 a handful of times. He has never won it, but he's averaging like a triple-double.
Yeah.
So I'm as optimistic on Ant as everyone, but the natural order of now we owe one to Embiid and now we owe one to this guy.
I actually think as much as I ordinarily crap on playing like in the Olympics and stuff that's not in season, I think this is going to be huge. Let's just say the young man has that fire in his eyes. He's seen greatness and now he is working for it. And I think he learned a lot this summer.
You don't think he's going to be too devastated to play basketball that they traded Karl?
I heard, now this, I don't know if this is true or not, but I heard that after Karl got traded, Ant called Justin Jefferson and asked about the plan because it's like, well, when Kirk left, you demanded a trade. And
you were
and
Jefferson's
out of here,
like,
right? I absolutely did.
Yeah.
And he said, how do I demand a trade?
How did you get up the next morning? How did you put one foot in front of the other?
Jefferson evidently said he cried for a week and a half straight.
Yeah, I heard the same thing. It's crazy.
Just sobbing into a pillow.
Inconsolable. He ate oatmeal for every meal for 10 days.
Write that down. It's terrible.
And had a big collage of Kirk. He burned a candle and had a collage of Kirk. I miss you, Kirk.
Painted a mural.
Yeah. Dex?
All right, write this down. I'm going to make 2 Twins additions to the coaching staff front office. I'm going to make 2 predictions that are kind of a hedge to a degree, but both can still individually come off. So the first one here, write this down. The Twins will add a former Major League player to their coaching staff who appeared in at least 500 Major League Baseball games.
Okay.
To their and this could be very broad to the coaching staff. They can make up a position or a new term for all I care. It could be the hitting coach. Could be an assistant hitting coach. But they will add a former Major League player to their coaching staff who appeared in at least 500 games.
So I had a very similar one.
You might snipe me on the next one, though.
About the hit. Well, I had a hitting coach one that was, because they're going from a dude who was like 30 years old with very little experience, David Popkins, coaching or playing above like A-ball. And I was going to say the Twins' next hitting coach will have taken at least 1 major league plate appearance. Wow. But that's similar. That's dissimilar because I'm being specific about the hitting coach, right? So I'm just going to make that one. The Twins' next hitting coach will have had at least 1 major league plate appearance in his life.
Very ruling with an iron fist there. Open-ending, asking if it was okay, not allowing anybody to answer, and then saying, I'm going to go ahead and make this one.
I
think it's fine. I was just laughing at the hilarity of it.
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
Judd, you're shaking your head. Say what you want to say. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I have nothing to say. No. I was shaking my head in amusement at the predictions themselves. Yeah, I don't know. It's fine. It's fine. But I was just like, this is just so... I've been shaking my head all week about anything that those dummies have done, okay? So, it's more of a Twins thing. I've been disgusted since Sunday. I'm not going to lie. I'm still disgusted. Really? I'm still disgusted. Yes. They have. I've never. It's like having a friend who continually does the wrong thing, and you're trying to help. You want to help, and they won't listen, and they're just dummies. That's what this is like. Yeah, I've been disgusted all week.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
When it gets to the point where most of the criticisms that you can just make as an idiot on your couch, like us watching games, are correct over like. Who is this random hitting coach that they hired from, rookie ball?
But again,
who's 30 years old, who's never talked to a major leaguer before? Why do they keep trading for injured pitchers? Isn't that going to come back and bite them at some point?
If you had pulled the plug on Popkins when you should have, it's a noble move. Now it's sort of, I mean, I'm fine with it, but it's sort of lazy. Like, this is your answer?
Well, there might be more.
Write this down.
Well, I mean, the Titanic is sinking, and you basically blame some dude who was, trying to deliver his drinks as a waiter.
Okay, back to birthday boy Ross Brendel here.
Write this down.
I'm going to stay, as my voice cracks there. I'm going to stay with the Minnesota Twins predictions here, gentlemen. The Minnesota Twins this offseason will acquire either Max Meyer from the Miami Marlins, Tyler Anderson of the Los Angeles Angels, or Blake Snell.
Oh,
Wow. Blake Snell?
Roscoe, you buried the lead, as we like to say in the business.
I had to put him at the end because the other two would be via trade. I think Blake Snell's still a little bit undetermined as to what his path
Player
here
option,
would look
right?
like.
He has a $38 million. Is it 38? It's like a $30+ million player option. So wait, how are we going to keep the payroll? We're going to have to increase the payroll to get Blake Snell in here, right?
Well,
what are you hearing over there about?
There are guys who are coming off of Kyle Farmer's not going to be back. That saves $7 million there. You got
$2, Ross.
You got other guys coming off. I just something's going to happen. They'll do something, and I'm just saying, Blake Snell he's just one of the three. The Twins, Declan and I have talked about this on Extra Innings a lot. At some point, the Twins are going to have to pay in money or prospects. My hunch is it will be prospects because they don't want to do it in money, and something's going to happen this offseason.
Let me tell you this. If they wind up going after a year ago, coming off a playoff series win, everything was all together for them to just push forward. If a year later they make a push for Blake Snell, that'd be cool and all, but it would be the most ridiculously mistimed acquisition. You could have had Blake Snell for this year, and you decided.
Yep.
So
we had to right-size the business, though. The business has been mildly right-sized.
I worry that there's going to be more right-sizing to be done.
They're not done yet, Ross. They're
We'll
not
see.
done
Write
yet.
this down.
Dummies.
We'll see. If it happens, we will bow down to Roscoe. Okay, Judd, your second prediction.
Well, first of all, I think the Max Meyer thing is spot on. Blake Snell, you're crazy, and we are not done right-sizing the business because we still think that this is just nothing more than a family business. And so, write this down. The Twins will be back on Bally Sports North next season.
Yes.
They're going to take.
Let's go.
They're going to take whatever they can get from that bankrupt, bleed that turnip as dry as you possibly can.
Oh, I can't hear Judd anymore. Sorry.
And they will be coming up next. How the Twins' late season collapse was actually a great thing. Guys got more time off with their families. We spent time with Carlos Correa and his family as they enjoy as they sail the seas.
More guys who shouldn't be here got playing time anyways.
Kyle Farmer. Kyle Farmer's back. We talked to Kyle next. He's great in the clubhouse. He's going to do some funny jokes for you.
All right, over to
Jason
Dex here.
Bartlett.
Second prediction.
Jason.
Look at these card tricks.
all right. Second one for me on this Twins edition prediction here. So write this down. The Twins will add a former World Series winner as a player or manager to their front office or coaching staff. So I'm thinking the Posey route here with the Giants. So Buster Posey, who was in the ownership group and was solely responsible, I guess, for even getting the extension done with Chapman, who now is their president of baseball ops in this kind of unconventional way. And Posey, from what I've gathered from listening to interviews, he is much more old school approach. Yes, he listens to analytics, but he's more of a ball guy than your traditional new Pobo that has been hired for the last 5 years in baseball. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to put that a former World Series winner will be added to the front office or the coaching staff.
So this could be semantics. If he won a ring as a 22-year-old backup catcher or something.
Yeah, he had to have been on the roster, or he had to have been part of a coaching staff that won.
So let's say he gets a ceremonial front office title. Does that count? Are you saying an influential person or just some schlep who comes along and is like
it's a World Series winner
that
is added to the front office.
I'm the assistant to the assistant to the assistant, and I'm going to eat at Target Field a lot.
But it can't be one of these. Well, I mean, you tell me, Dex, because the Twins historically have done the LaTroy Hawkins is coming on board as a spring training advisor or something. Are we counting any?
That wouldn't count. I'm talking it's a front office staff. If Thad Levine's going to go, they're going to hire clearly a new GM. They might hire a new AGM, assistant GM. So we'll know it when we see it. We'll know it when we see it.
If my opinion matters at all, and it should, because happy birthday me, I think for you guys, everybody will, when this position becomes available or somebody gets hired, I think this one's easy to define the role. So I'm going to back up Declan on this. I think we all know that. I think we all know that assistant to the assistant ball boy at Hammond Stadium doesn't count, but an actual position, I think it'll be easy
just
to
wait till it
understand.
happens, Ross.
Yeah,
Tune in then.
Yeah, there's a
on
reason
the
why we have Lawyer Chase on retainer.
Yeah, things
around
don't
here,
go as
okay?
well as you think. It's not all. I mean, we seem to all get along fine on the show, but behind the scenes at times there have been some very ugly
when there's
moments.
a questionable, write that down.
Yeah.
It gets ruthless.
There's some locker room issues around here that the public doesn't know about. I'll
It's the
admit
cheap
that.
guys actually here that have to defend
It's the
themselves.
young guys who
sometimes.
don't pull their weight,
it's
Ross.
the
That's
cheap
the problem.
guys, as I like to call
The
myself.
young guys.
Here.
I mean, I'm always pulling my weight.
Yep.
They don't pull their weight. Not my fault.
Let's go to wait, are we on the Dexter? Or no, you just made that one, so it's on me.
You.
Let's go to Phil.
Write this down.
Let's go back to me.
It's on me. I was not a good enough show host today. I need to be better. Who am I?
Okay, write this down.
Thanks, PJ.
Sam
Thank you,
Darnold.
Judd.
Sam Darnold will get a game ball after this game against the Jets. So it's a parlay. Vikings will win, and Sam Darnold will get a game ball. Write this down.
Write this down.
It'll be very Kevin O'Connell's going to play it up.
This guy
These
came here.
guys didn't want him.
They all said he couldn't do it.
I'm so freaking proud of this guy.
There's a reason why this guy was the 3rd overall effing pick in the draft by that team. He just showed them why.
Yeah.
Come
I
on
could
down,
also see-
Sammy. Did you guys see where O'Connell heaved the game ball or one of the game balls and almost took out Mark Wilf?
That was
and
funny.
looks back at the cameras like,
Okay, I got a hot take on that. Owners in the locker room for the post-game win celebration.
yeah.
I think it's kind of weird.
The Wilfs love it. They bring in
I know
their,
they
like,
do, but it's
the whole family comes
it's
from that room.
I know, and they have for almost 20 years. I just think it's kind of weird. These guys, these warriors, these men, and I get that you're paying them and it's your team and all of it. It's like you're just sitting there with your goofy little suit on. I don't know.
If they do want to be there, I would like to see them not like Mark Wilf was like front and center.
I know.
Like the guy who got, I think it was Jones, but he was behind Mark. It's like, dudes, if you want to be, I have
Just
no
stand in the
problem with
back
being there,
yeah.
but get off, get like behind the players, right?
Totally.
Like, what are we doing here? Like if you got hit, in my opinion, that's your fault, not
Super
Kevin's
weird.
fault.
Write this down.
Off the record, or maybe I should put this on the record. I could see the Sam Darnold beating the Jets game ball being one where KOC chokes up, gets a little emotional, just gets a little frog in his throat.
Yeah, that's
I could see it.
Write this down.
Okay.
All right, good talk. Over to Ross for your third
I
and
was
final
going to say,
prediction.
no, it's too tough because he gets so hoarse from screaming during games. Sometimes it looks or it sounds like he is choking up because his voice just cracks because it's gone.
That's why we have Lawyer Chase on.
So
retainer.
that's why. I mean, you guys are like on the edge.
I've been
Dexter
quiet
on
this
the
entire
edge.
time.
No. But your predictions are on the edge.
What
You're
do you-
asking for legal problems.
I feel like
here.
you've had too much coffee today. That's what I
Definitely-
feel
well,
like.
I most definitely have, but that's not the
You've had,
point.
like,
The point is
6
you guys are
cups of
both on the edge. I've only had 4 cups because I ran.
I think, Judd, I think you just need to start showing up with Lawyer Chase. He just needs to be at your representation every time. I think that might be the easiest way here.
I don't think that's a good idea.
Okay, Ross, your final prediction
Okay.
here.
Boys, I need some help here. How often do we think our friend Darren Doogie Wolfson listens to Write That Downs?
I think he listens to our stuff every once in a while. I don't know if he's listening to everything we do, but he listens to stuff.
Every now and then he sends me messages or tweets about stuff going on in my life that I have no idea how he knows about it. So that's why I asked this question, because my next Write That Down, I was going to do a hockey one, but this one just popped into my mind. This could be viewed as slightly mean-spirited. I want people to know I love Doogie. Doogie's my guy. I've known him for 20 plus
Here
years.
it comes.
Love
No. Just say it.
Love me some Darren Doogie Wolfson.
Bring it on.
But I'm just telling you, the next time Doogie appears, when is his next scoop session with you boys? Tomorrow? Yep.
Tomorrow 10.
He will say, I'm just telling you, at minimum 4 times.
This is brilliant.
Okay.
At minimum 4 times. I'm just
Boy.
telling you, Judd.
We all have our verbal
I'm just telling
crushes.
you, Phil.
I was gonna say I'm not making fun of that. Not me.
No.
All right.
Oh, no. You can come after me for plenty of things, too. That's one of my favorite. I think a state fair shirt for Doogie should just be, I'm just telling you.
I think Doogie would be all for that if we could split
Write this
the
down.
millions and millions in revenue. So, all right. Well, Ross, happy birthday.
Thank you very much.
Since you've got this life-changing platform here on Write That Down, is there anyone in your life you'd like to thank that helped you get to this moment today?
I didn't actually expect to get that question. I thought you would bypass that one. I'm going to turn this back to you guys. The Minnesota sports fans already know, but they should know. They don't see everything that I see behind the scenes, so I just want to thank you guys for all being good humans and all grinding. I think some people just assume maybe you're working a few hours a day. These guys are working 6-7 days a week. So my thank you is to these guys for being great at what they do and for being great people, and I guess for bringing me aboard. So that's my big thank you. So hail to these guys for being great at what they do. That's my thank you today.
Ross, anything else positive you'd like to say about us before we say goodbye?
Any more rips on Doogie and positivity?
Yeah, Phil, I just sent you some paperwork on like a 40% raise for me. So if you want to sign that and just pass that through really quickly.
Get right on that.
Thank you, everybody.
All right,
Thanks,
there he
Roscoe.
is. Birthday boy, producer Ross. We'll see him on Flagrant House tomorrow. Okay, let's go back to Judd for your third and final prediction here.
All right, they are up currently as we record this 1-0 in their playoff series against the Atlanta Braves. The San Diego Padres will win the World Series.
Ooh.
Oh, I love it, dude. I'm kind of rooting for them.
Win
I like
the
the
World
Padres,
Series.
yeah.
There's a ton of great stories. 3 of the 4 games on Tuesday were fantastic.
Yeah, they're good games.
So, but
The
San
Padres
Diego
deciding to
Padres-
overspend what is likely their revenue coming in a few years ago too. They just decided, let's go gangbusters and be one of the most active teams in the league and tell our fans. We've talked about it on the Twin Show.
Yep.
And their fans pay it off, 40,000 fans a game, and
Great
they're one of
story.
the most fun teams. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, Dexter.
All right, last one for me. I promised a bad blood prediction, so write this down. And it actually carries over to the Raw after Bad Blood too. But John Cena will confront CM Punk at some point during Bad Blood or on the Raw after Bad Blood. And confront there's an interaction, the music hits. We'll, again, know it when we see it. But John Cena confronts CM Punk. I think those two, I have one about him and Randy Orton on the board for his retirement tour. These two have to wrestle before the retirement tour is over. The Punk and Cena stuff was phenomenal. So John Cena will confront CM Punk at some point during Bad Blood or on the Raw after Bad Blood. Write it down.
Okay.
Write this down.
All right, I'll make a post-Cat trade prediction here. So I know people are a little worried that, man, Cat's one of the great shooters in the NBA. He's one of probably the greatest big man shooter of all time, and Julius Randle is not the greatest shooter. How's this all going to work? So write this down. Calm down. Dante DiVincenzo will beat Karl Anthony Towns to 50 3-pointers made this season. So, but
Sure.
just whatever date one of them hits their 50th, whoever gets there first. If it's Dante, I win this prediction. So Dante DiVincenzo will beat Cat to 50 made 3-pointers. If they're both healthy, Dante shoots more, so it's not like a home run prediction, but
Write this down.
write it down. So, all right, there it is. Write that down. Predictions, Minnesota sports with Mackey and Judd. We will do the aforementioned scoop session with our guy Dukes on tomorrow's show. See ya.